Mike, I imagine down the years people have asked you what it feels like to be one of the most accomplished players in program history, asked you about other players in program history similar to you. Trace passes you on the all-time scoring list today. What will you tell people about Trace once all of this is said and done?
Well, I mean, as a player myself, I was never about accolades, man. It's just something I was blessed to be able to do and scoring the basketball. And the beauty about Trace and Mike Woodson, we both didn't shoot threes. He doesn't shoot them, and I never had the three-point line. But I couldn't be more proud of a young man than Trace today. That record is, I've been sitting in that spot for a long time, and for him to surpass it, man, it's special. It just means the body of work that he's put in, over the years, but he can't stop there, man. It's just points, man. He's still staring at two things: a Big Ten title and a national title, man, and that's where I'm trying to get him.
Yeah, Coach, so you guys are down, I think it's 48-39 with a little more than 12 to play. You climb back, and then that last minute and a half or so, why were guys like Jalen, Fino, Miller Kopp able to make such key plays to get you guys that win?
Well, I mean, we're hungry too. This was a separation game. If they win, they separate. And, even though we got a long way to go still, this game was important. And, you got to applaud Illinois and how they played. They were without their best player, and they were trying to move up too. And they played that way. But we made the plays coming down the home stretch I thought that we needed to make in terms of getting stops and Jalen's two big free throws, the jump shot that he made, and then getting it out of that double team right at the end there.
Mike, you won a whole lot of 50-50 balls, especially in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that game, too, with just the effort and intensity that kind of went into everything on the defensive end had as much to do with scoring the points, didn't it?
Well, it had a lot to do with it. I thought the first half, we were getting beat on the boards. They won all the 50-50 balls. I mean, we was just moving in slow motion, I thought. And it was heated in the locker room at halftime a little bit. But, I thought we came out and they jumped right from the start. I mean, and we just kept scrapping and scraping, and we made a game out of that at the end and was able to do what we needed to do to win.
Mike, can you talk about what your approach is with Jalen in terms of just keeping the faith, because he didn't have a great statistical game. He made some mistakes, but then he's on the floor at the end of the game to make some big plays. What's your approach in terms of dealing with him on that?
He's a freshman, and freshmen make mistakes. I just look at the process and where he's come from, and the fact when you lose your starting point guard in Xavier Johnson and you turn the ball over to a freshman to run your ball club at a major program, that's huge. It's huge. And make no mistake about it, he's put us in this position along with the supporting cast with Trace Jackson Davis leading the way. You're not going to shoot it well all the time, but I always judge players at the end of the game about who they are as a player. And he made the plays down the stretch that counted. And that's what I look at. If he had miscued those plays, then I'm in his ear after the game or tomorrow saying, hey, these are things that you got to learn the next time you're in that position. But he made every right play, except for throwing the ball away out of the timeout. As a coach, that kind of tears you up, man, But I thought he made winning plays coming down the stretch to help us win it.
Tyler.
Coach, how have you seen Race, just since his injury, basically attack his recovery to get back on the court? How have you kind of just seen him deal with the mental and physical hurdles of that?
No, I think he's coming along smoothly. I think I played him up at Northwestern 25. I think he got 22 minutes or so tonight. So I got to just gauge that a little bit. Somehow I got to get Tamar and Geronimo. Malik is playing at a good level. I got to get them back in the swing of things because, we're going to need guys like that as we continue this journey. We still got a long way to go, and, I just don't want to pile up, Trace is playing damn near the whole game. And, I think he played 7 tonight. So, we got to, start scaling him back if we can, with Malik and Geronimo giving us some minutes, up front.
Coach, obviously Miller, tough night shooting the other night at Northwestern. He bounces back. Was there any conversation with him after that? Obviously, I know it was an emotional game for him. And then how happy are you as his coach to see him play like he did tonight after a tough game at Northwestern?
Well, again, Miller's been around a long time, and that Northwestern scene is not a good scene for him. Going back to last season, it's what it is, man. But the bottom line, he's played well here at home. For us, and so I expect him to make shots here. He's got the fan base and he's got everybody in his corner, so it makes it a lot easier for him.
Jim.
Mike, you alluded to Jalen having the ball in his hands so much in the turnovers, but as a team with 14 turnovers that led to 16 points off of those turnovers, and then at the free throw line, Illinois was 14 of 18, 78%. Indiana just 61%, was 50-something% for most of the game. How concerned are you about those things as this season starts to wind down?
Well, again, we kind of been up and down in those areas in terms of the free throws. But for the most part, we've been better this year shooting free throws, especially when it counts. You're always concerned about that. You look at every statistical category on the stat sheet. You can go in and nitpick and say this and that, and then some games it's just smooth sailing and things are great. But again, stats are what they are. Sometimes, I gauge things on what happens at the end of the game. If it's a close game, that's a lot of it's on me. I live my fantasies through these guys to see who's gonna make plays. That's what I get excited about. And tonight, Jalen made plays, shooting a stupid number. It was crazy. But he still made plays down the stretch to help us win the game.
Coach, Illinois made 6 of 12 three-pointers in the first half, missed all 8 in the second half. What was that halftime adjustment for the three-point shooting, and how did three-point shooting affect the game on both sides of the ball?
Again, I thought that they were the most aggressive team in the first half, and we were just playing on our heels. Ball was just floating around the perimeter easily. Guys was just freelancing, playing, beating us off the drive. It wasn't pretty basketball, the first half, I didn't think. And I thought the second half, especially as the game started to get tighter, our defense started to pick up and, eliminated a lot of the threes and the good looks that they had the first half.
Mike?
Coach, you've been around a lot of young basketball players in your career. What is it about Jalen that allows him to throw a bad pass that they take for a dunk and then turn around, come right back, make a shot, make 2 free throws?
Well, it wasn't pretty what I said. That's a coach's worst nightmare, man. You come out of the timeout and you throw the ball right to your opponent and they go down. They didn't have to work for it. And when he was coming back down, man, I was screaming at him and he took it upon himself to run a pick and roll and go make up for it and make the shot. And then he makes the 2 free throws, so go figure.
Last question.
Coach, specifically Matthew Mayer had 16 from the field in the first half and then only 2 from the field in the second. How much of the halftime adjustment was specifically keying in on him, and what did you see from your guys kind of shutting him down?
Miller got an earful, and guys that didn't switch up on him at halftime. Hell, I thought he was going to go for a career high here, the way he was playing. He was playing extremely well, but second half we kind of closed in on him and took away a lot of the gaps where he was able to work on.
All right, Coach, thank you.
All right, guys.